Now, we will discuss the variation of velocity amplitude with driving force frequency, that is variation of velocity amplitude with driving force frequency. In short, it is V naught versus omega graph. V naught means the maximum value of velocity, or which is also called velocity amplitude, and omega is driving force frequency. We know that velocity, expression for velocity is F naught upon Zm e power iota omega t minus phi. This is formula for velocity, and we will consider its real part. So, real part of velocity is, when we split this e power iota theta as cos theta plus iota sin theta. So, real part of velocity become F naught upon Zm into cos of omega t minus phi, because iota sin will become the imaginary part. So, we will only concerned with the real part of velocity. So, this real part velocity. So, in this case, if we omit this cos cosine term, harmony term, then this constant term is known as amplitude. So, V naught is F naught upon Zm, which is called velocity amplitude. This is velocity amplitude, this one V naught. So, it is the maximum value of velocity. This is the velocity amplitude. Now, we will discuss its variation, the variation of this velocity V naught with omega. So, again taking three cases of omega. First one, omega tends to 0, second one omega tends to infinity, and third one omega tends to omega naught or resonance frequency. In the first case, omega tends to 0, that is at very low frequencies. So, when omega tends to 0. So, we will put this omega as 0, and we will find the value of V naught. So, here V naught is F naught upon Zm. So, there is no directly omega is shown in the equation, but indirectly omega is there inside the value of Zm. So, what is Zm? You know that Zm is under root of r square plus m omega minus s upon omega whole square, because it is impedance. Zm is impedance, and in this equation omega is there in the two terms. So, when we put the value omega as 0, then Zm become, so when omega tends to 0, then this Zm become 0, means r become r remains r, and m into omega become m into 0, means 0. This term will vanish, and ultimately s upon omega become 0, means s upon 0 is infinity. It is minus infinity whole square. Okay. So, overall it will become, means s by omega term will dominate. So, in this case s by omega term dominates. This term will dominate because this term has highest value. It has value infinity. Its value is 0. Its value is finite, any value. So, ultimately among three terms, this term will contribute more. So, this Z become s by omega, because we will neglect this term as compared to this term. So, we will retain only third value, that is s by omega minus s by omega square and under root. and at last Zm will become S by omega. Or at last, when you put omega is 0, this term 0, Zm become infinity ultimately. So velocity is become F naught upon Zm become infinity, that is 0. Okay, something upon infinity is 0. So this is first coordinates. When omega is 0, then velocity also become 0. This is our first coordinate, which will be shown in the graph. This is second. When omega tends to infinity, then this Zm, because Zm is the main factor for deciding the value of velocity. So Zm become again this r square plus m omega minus s by omega whole square under root. So when omega is infinity, then this term will dominate second term, because it has finite value, it has infinite value, and something upon infinity may become 0. It will become 0, it is finite, it is infinite. So among three, this value will dominate. So m omega, we will consider only this term, m omega, and neglecting other terms. So m omega square under root, that is m omega. Okay. At last, omega is there, and we will put the value omega as infinity. So it will become Zm is equal to m into infinity, means at last we have got the value of Zm as infinity. So V naught become F naught over infinity, Zm infinity, that is again 0. So this is second point. When omega is infinity, V naught again become 0. Okay. And in the third case, when omega is at resonance, that is the value is lying in between 0 and infinity, or resonance is a condition when the value of velocity become maximum. So third case, at resonance, that is omega become omega naught. So I have used omega naught as a resonance frequency in case of velocity, but in case of amplitude it was not omega naught, but in case of velocity you may remember this omega is equal to omega naught, means frequency of undamped oscillator is the resonance frequency. You can also find this resonance frequency by using the condition of maxima or minima. So this value is omega is equal to omega naught, and it is S by m under root. And what will be the value of velocity V naught? It will be F naught upon Zm. It means Zm is here. So we have to solve Zm. What is Zm? R square plus m omega minus S by omega whole square. You know that at resonance these both terms are same or equal, or you may put this value omega as S by m under root. We will put S by m under root, you will get Sm minus Sm under root. So you may put these values as r square plus omega means S by m under root. So S by m under root means cancel with m under root, and it is Sm under root minus Sm under root, okay, whole square. This is 0, and r square plus 0 square, ultimately it is r. So Zm is equal to r. So velocity become F naught upon r. This is r. So this is third condition. When omega is equal to omega naught, velocity become F naught by r, any finite value. Now we will plot the graph between velocity amplitude and omega. So this is the graph. Velocity naught is here, V naught means velocity amplitude, and omega is here. As usual, omega is 0 at this point, omega is omega naught at this point, and consider omega as infinity at this point. So I have considered this point as infinity. Now the values for velocities are 0, 0 and f naught by r. So 0 is here and f naught by r here. First of all, you have to mark the points along x axis and y axis from the given points. Now there are 3 points. First point is omega is 0, velocity naught is 0. Omega is infinity, velocity naught is 0 again. And omega is omega naught, velocity is this. So mark this point, omega 0, velocity 0. When omega 0, velocity is also 0, means this point is first itself. And second, omega infinity, velocity again 0. Omega infinity, velocity again 0, this point. And the second point, and third point, omega naught, velocity f naught by r. Omega naught, f naught by r, this one. So this is the point. This one. And join these points, you will find that you will get this type of graph. So this graph is parabolic in nature, and it will start from 0 and ends at 0 and maximum at resonance frequency. So this is a variation of velocity amplitude with driving force frequency. Okay. So this is curve nature and symmetrical curve, that is parabola. So this is variation of velocity amplitude with omega. So in our next lecture, we will discuss acceleration, because we have studied displacement and velocity, and in our next lecture we will do the derivative of velocity and get acceleration. Thank you very much.